Hi, loves. I'm Lauren, and thank you for joining us for Sacred Living Conversations. My business, Sacred Living Arts, helps women awaken to the divine feminine, an energy that, when revealed, allows us to honor our cyclical nature, to flow through life, and claim our sovereignty. Many women in midlife are ripe for change, yet struggle figuring out how to make shifts in their habitual patterns, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And when we come into our divine awareness, we reveal a more fluid, creative, empowered, and authentic self. So I work with women using various healing modalities to help them return to their sacred birthright, helping them create space for themselves, intentional living, and well-being. So to learn more about my services, you can find me at sacredlivingarts.com. And today I have joining me Ania Fields. So Ania is a newish friend I found through the pandemic. She was a lovely soul that wasn't afraid to give me a hug and meet up for walks. And she really lives in her sovereignty and has so much to share. And so before I have her introduce herself, let's take a little bit of time to just drop in and be still and present. And I want to light a candle for us, just to open up the space. And this flame represents the flame that ignites the spirit within you. And when our own spirits are lit, we light the spirit of the collective. And so feel free to maybe even close your eyes for a moment. And let's just take 3 long, slow breaths. All right, so Ania, I have worked with you a few times in what I feel is like your soul calling. You're so perfect for this work that you do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Evoke method? And Ania is known as the happiness guide, and I can verify that she is authentically happy. Like every time I see her, she just exudes this energy of vitality, and it's one of those energies that's contagious. So
beautiful, thank you. So this happiness guide is like a new thing. Being a happiness guide and claiming it that I am, it's a new thing. And you know, Lauren, that it's been like I've been transitioning from being a portrait photographer for 15 years. And actually, so for the last year, I'm on this new path. First started just exploring it because I loved this method, but then the more I learned, the more I trained, the more I practiced, I realized that I loved this, doing this more than my photography, which was a little bit, there was a little bit of contrast in it for me because I really identified myself as a photographer. And there was like a little bit of grieving, like, how can I leave this photography and suddenly this new journey? But after doing like some inner work and releasing and calibrating myself, it's like, I know that this is a new path for me. And I'm excited to, and it feels like it's unfolding. Like I don't even have to figure out where to go. It's like one step and another just unfold for me, and I know I'm supposed to take them. So it's flowing beautifully with ease and harmony so far, and I hope it will.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can tell just through your journey that there's just definitely a divine alignment with what you're doing with this work because of how I think it's just kind of come to you. Like you haven't had to.
It came to me, yes. And actually, when we first met, this was my beginning with it, right? With like training to be the Evoke method practitioner. And yeah, I like my enthusiasm was amazing, like was very strong to do it, but still, like last year I still thought like, oh, I'll just be doing this with friends and family and just helping people. But then so many people like had amazing results, and so many people wanted more and more, that like, why not? I might just change my career. So this is what happened. And I still didn't quit photography. Like if clients want to take, me to take their portraits, it's like I'm open for that. It's just being the Evoke practitioner is like my focus now.
Yeah. So one of the words that you use in the work that you do is wobble.
Wobble,
And
yeah.
so it kind of represents when like you're kind of like you're out of alignment all of a sudden and your foundation starts to wobble, or you're wobbling on your foundation, and so the work you do is sort of to kind of bring someone's
From
energy or frequency back into alignment, and then you're kind of more maybe clear, or you've released whatever was causing the wobble. I know that for me, it definitely and it works on the quantum level. Like it definitely shifts things almost immediately. And I think looking back, the first session that I had with you, maybe I didn't recognize anything in the first couple days, but then it was like, I had to like, what was happening, I had to like circle back and say, oh my gosh, things shifted
like that
from
was, I
that
remember
work.
you were my first practice client with the
Oh
physical
yeah,
pain. And that
right.
pain, like I remember at the end of that session, you said like, I don't really feel pain, but there's like a phantom pain or ghost pain because it's been there for almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
But that shifted, right? So it's like, you
It,
see, like
yeah, like a week
one,
later, I think
oh,
a week later, and I have not had that pain since. And it's been the longest duration of time that I've been without. I was dealing with like um, I think what was like a bulging disc or something, which was stress related to life
emotions.
circumstances. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and I knew that on an emotional level, and I could not tolerate any manual work. Like it was too painful to get massage therapy or even chiropractic work and stuff like that. So um, I had visited different energetic modalities, and this was the one that just really, I don't know, just
Shifted it, yeah.
poof.
Like released it.
Yeah,
So
it really is.
yeah, so this work focuses on releasing resistance. And resistance is like when you feel negative emotion, it means you have resistance in your body. And what what Evoke method process, that I call it calibration. So what the calibration does is we calibrate you from whatever negative emotion you start with when you come to me to a better feeling. There's, the scale of emotions, and people start with like, they come to me with like anger or frustration or overwhelm or grief or shame, any crappy feeling that people can feel, we can start there. And then through this process, and it literally can be as short as 30 minutes, like within 30 minutes to maybe an hour, a person suddenly releases, shifts this energy around whatever topic they feel this negative emotion about. And through shifting, you reach some, like one from the good feeling emotions, those that are like higher frequency, high vibration emotions. Like it could be joy, it could be just peace and calm, it could be clarity. And when you're in this good feeling emotion, I guide my clients then, like, gently turn your attention to this problem that caused you feeling negative feeling. And when they are in this aligned state, connected to their source, their spirit, their inner being, higher self, whatever God, whatever you call it, suddenly looking at the problem situation, they see it from a completely new perspective. They're like downloading new awarenesses, new thoughts. Suddenly, it's not a big problem anymore. And they see, because they look at it from this aligned, high vibing state. So what I love about it is also that I'm not like sharing my wisdom with my clients. I'm just guiding them, and they are receiving their wisdom. And this is like so satisfying that I'm not talking at somebody like, you should, think this way. Like they think new thoughts because they connect with them being in this aligned, good feeling emotion. I don't know if it
Yes.
made sense what I explained, but hopefully.
Yeah. Well, and that really it correlates or parallels the work that I like to do um as a spiritual director, because I'm not telling people what to think or what to believe, but it's about bringing them to a place where they can be in that alignment to receive inner
Mhm.
guidance. And that's so empowering when people can tap into that. And what I love is that, sometimes we need someone to help us get there. So it's like, you're setting the stage and the space, and and that's what's so wonderful, I think, about how you guide people through this, because I don't know that you can just learn it and do it well. Like you really have a gift for it, because
Aw, thank you.
well, yeah, you can tell when people are struggling, and sometimes people do struggle because they don't see in images so much. And so to imagine things or to even feel in the body can be difficult, but you really coach people along that process so gently, and but yet also with a sense of confidence that it helps people get there.
And the confidence came with practice. So I've had, hundreds of sessions by now. And I know that the person that I'm meeting with, they feel wobbly. They don't feel well because they are not connected. And I know that I have this method, this process that will connect them. And I know it will connect them because everybody gets connected through this process to their inner self, to their, inner being, higher self. And I have confidence that it will happen. So I think this confidence came with just having a lot of clients and a lot of practice. And 100% of my clients felt better after. So I know that their problem is not about the story. It's not about the childhood, whatever. Like, we're dragging stuff, and the stuff has momentum, the whole, patterns of thinking and the beliefs but I know that we're dragging them because we don't feel good. And when I connect them to feel good, their outlook will be different on everything. And sometimes when there is like the topic or the subject has years or decades of momentum, sometimes it's like, small steps to this better feeling thought. But even if somebody gets from like anger or shame or depression to neutral, that's like, several steps on the emotional scale ladder. And then, ideally people continue and just get the momentum going towards this good feeling and supportive perspectives in life.
Mm. So would you say that the clients that you work with are primarily coming in with the same issue, or do they
No,
tend
no.
to come to you with a different issue each time, like a different wobble?
Everybody comes with different issues. At some point at some level they're similar, but Evoke works, like the Evoke method works on anything and everything, because anything and everything is about vibration. So we don't feel good because our vibrations are low. And this process helps you raise your vibration. And it literally is not about the story. It doesn't matter what exactly emotion, what we call the emotion that they come with. I mean, it is important to name it, but it works on every negative emotion. It's like magical shortcut that I love it.
Yeah, that's what's really exciting about this work and working in the quantum field, is that you could take something that's happened in your childhood that you're still carrying with you in your, mid 40s, that you've done the therapy, you're aware, you have a different perspective because you're now an adult, so you're looking back at your childhood. But that's been years of working through an issue, whereas the work you do in the quantum, like, it could be done like that. I mean, it could be, which
It
is,
could be. So it doesn't,
not to say that it
have to
always
be,
is,
yeah,
but
because
yeah.
very often there are like layers to
Mhm.
whatever issue people have.
Yeah.
So we're just like, but when somebody first comes to me and they're like vibrational set point about the topic that was wobbly is raised, and it will never go down as low as it was before. So, but it may dip again. So there is a process. Like ideally, it's very seldom like one and done. Like it's not just one calibration, because we all have a lot of wobbly situations in life. But if you are like committed to it and consistent, then you don't even have to, at some point, you don't have to even like tackle all of them, because if you tackle and release the resistance about the main ones, like the rest suddenly fixes itself. And it's also not about releasing this resistance to manifest something specific in your life. This work is only about just feeling good and trusting that if you feel good consistently, if you're high vibing in this, upper half of the emotional scale, then your life like magically will have to reflect different circumstances, different, opportunities, different people. And like, it almost like life fixes itself when you vibe high.
Yeah.
We don't have to go after it and do stuff. We just have to focus on releasing crap, releasing resistance, tending to our feelings, like following our guidance system, which is like when we feel good, it's a signal that we're not thinking the way our inner being thinks. And when you follow that and you're consistently in higher frequencies, then it's like magical how synchronicities happen, like just life unfolds for you beautifully.
Yeah, it makes me think of that when I'm working with sort of my own spiritual practices, and I'm bringing in maybe wanting to bring in the energy of the sacred feminine, that I have to turn inwards. And somehow that turning inwards, and this is this is true with contemplative practices too, where in spiritual directions, that we're kind of turning inwards in order to find that divine within. And so what I find interesting is that there's a level of self-awareness that maybe is needed in order to make this quantum leap. And I know that's very much a part of the process that you take people through.
Yeah, because people realize that when they are in this aligned state and good feeling, they realize that like circumstances or other people or triggers are never, it's never about outside of us. It's all how, like, what we bring to the table when we meet somebody, when we do something. And basically the better you feel, I don't know what, I lost kind of the chain of thought, but it's always inner work. Yeah. It's never about outside circumstances. Like what this process does, it teaches you that, like, it shows you that you can be unconditionally happy no matter what's going on out around you. If you stay in your aligned, peaceful, joyful state, it doesn't affect you. You're not triggered. You're just, and then the longer you stay in it, the sooner the world outside will match
Yeah,
your vibration.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I was teaching mindfulness in schools, sometimes, well, there was a teacher who is in the field of mindfulness, and he suggested that when you're in the practice of loving kindness and you want to work on giving yourself kind thoughts, that some people really struggle with that. And so it's helpful to imagine what you would want your friends to feel or your family to feel. And so you work with them first, and then you come back to yourself. And so for some people, it might be helpful to know that your frequency changes the collective.
Totally.
And so even if you're working from that perspective, that's kind of fun, because some people can't allow themselves to feel
So, like,
that expansive, joyful frequency.
One of my teachers, like, he keeps repeating that you have to be selfish to be selfless. Like, you can't be selfless first because you're like, you have nothing to give, you know, like, tend to your own vibration, tend to your own, like, getting to alignment, feel good, find your steadiness, and then you can be selfless. Because if you're helping others from a wobbly, worry, fearful state and worrying that they can't help themselves, it's like you're not really, like, energetically, that's not the best way to help. That's like really effective and giving other people like empowerment. It's like, oh no, you need me to help you because otherwise you won't, help yourself. Like, that's not like vibrationally perfect way to help others. So just focus on yourself, get into your steady place, get into alignment, and then whatever you feel inspired to do, like, never do things from like, oh, I should, like, the shoulds are like, if you feel inspired to do something, go for it, because that's your inner being guiding you that this is a good idea. But if something doesn't feel perfect, then just don't do it. Chill out.
Yeah, I always feel like it's like it means more to give from a place of like overflow, where you're not giving from depletion, which kind of lends to obligation or just
Yeah.
like living automatically.
Responsibility and
Mhm.
people pleasing and
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Not a good place to give for sure. From.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for so many of us that we're giving from depletion. And I
And
think
then that
there,
also creates resentment, like, oh, I'm giving, 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 and I'm not getting anything back. It's like, so it's like
yeah,
there's this cycle of really
yeah,
wobbly stuff that happens when we start giving from I don't know, worry or fear that, we need help, we need to help somebody.
mhm,
Like I choose now to think that every one of us has our spiritual team that guides us. And if somebody else can't connect to their guidance, like how can I think that they will hear me and what I have to say, like their inner being is on it for them and guiding them on their path of least resistance. And it's a better feeling thought for me to think about this other person who's in a wobble than like I need to help them and shake them and show them what's the right way to look at things, right? Because otherwise whatever will happen. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying. Does it make sense?
yeah, yeah. I
Just give
know,
from
and I think
fullness
it's
and
just
give
not.
from inspiration and give from enthusiasm
Yeah,
and like you
yeah,
really can't not give because you feel so good.
yeah. And I hope that our children are able to learn that by example, but I'm not sure that like the generation of children that my kids are in are learning that, because a lot of moms and dads are working and constantly doing and giving out of that depletion. So for the sake of our kids, like, let's teach them to give from overflow. And what does that look like? I mean, I'm already having to teach my daughter, who's a teenager, not to overdo, like make sure you're taking care of yourself and not committing to too much. I mean, she's like just this very vivacious young woman that has so many interests, and she's a go-getter. So she gets involved in lots of things.
Mhm.
And I'm like, just make sure you're
But
taking care of
if you,
yourself.
like if she does it from her enthusiasm and this is her highest excitement,
Mhm.
and then like don't stop it. Because when you're aligned and you can do like so much in when you're in aligned state and just you're doing it from happiness,
Yeah.
like way more effortless, and things seem to flow and you're suddenly feel so productive because you're happy to do whatever you're doing. So like if she does things from joy, then good for her.
Yeah. Well,
But if
and
it's like,
she,
yeah, if some obligation comes or
right.
responsibility, then that's like where, could
Yeah.
be.
And she's young enough where she still has that reserve. She hasn't depleted herself. But like if I were to try to do what she does, I
Mhm.
would be, I would struggle. But I'm learning and continually setting up my life in ways that I can live from overflow versus depletion. But I think it's challenging, um, socially and culturally. Like it's
It's
not been,
challenging because we were programmed that way, that you
yeah,
have to, keep giving, giving, giving and
right.
please others before doing it for yourself. But I think more and more people are waking up that it's not really the way that
Yeah,
things
like it's
work.
not working great and it
It's
doesn't
not really
feel
working. Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I just envision more and more people being aware of that, and like even whatever is going on in the world, we can change it and until we change and find total peace in us, and then vibrate that.
mm, Oh, I love it. So for anyone that wants to kind of realign and recalibrate their life and
Just feel better.
amplify their vibration and feel good and explore, what the frequencies of happiness and joy and peace are. Please see Ania. She's so good at what she does, and I hope that she can support you. So I am going to just close up our time together. Thanks, Ania, so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me.
It
Yeah,
was fun.
good. Yeah. All right. Well, blessings, everyone. Blessings of, excuse me, blessings of vitality and joy and happiness and alignment.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, Anya. And where can people find you if they want to connect with your?
Yeah, thank you. So I have this brand new website. It's called intoalignmentcoaching.com.
Okay.
So like all information is there and easy to reach me through that. So intoalignmentcoaching.com.
Great. Thanks, Anya. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren. Bye.